Did you know that 1/3 of the world's land area is used for agriculture? Millions of people and hundreds of thousands of machines work day and night to produce food for us. In today's video, you'll witness the 30 most impressive vegetable and fruit harvests ever recorded. To produce more than 250 tons of essential oil each year, the endless lavender fields in Bulgaria cannot rely solely on human labour. When the purple hue covers the horizon, modern machines spring into action. Watch how they glide across the field. The header gathers the entire bushes of flowers, while the sharp blades cleanly sever the stems in an instant. The lavender flowers are rolled and compressed into bale-like shapes. An entire field can disappear in just one day. All the harvest is transported to the factory, where it is transformed into valuable drops of essential oil. Without giant machinery or automated presses, peach harvesting remains a true test of human effort. To reach the high branches, migrant workers must climb ladders and stretch to pick each fruit. The fine fuzz on the peach skin may seem harmless, but it causes itching, however, and they have little time to pause.
Y ni ruido hace, ¿verdad?
They work in teams of 8 people and are paid by output, $80 per bin. To earn sufficient income, each person must complete at least 15 bins per day. The bins of peaches gradually fill hour after hour, ready to leave the orchard, carrying both the effort and the pressure behind every harvest. Looking at cabbage fields today, many people assume everything is fully mechanized. In reality, in some areas, farmers still have to cut each cabbage head off by hand. The difference lies behind them. A conveyor belt system is quietly transforming the harvesting process. After cutting, each cabbage is placed onto the conveyor belt and transferred to the sorting and packing area. Thanks to this system, efficiency has improved significantly, reducing labour demand by up to 50%. For rapeseed, harvesting is now handled by machines. The header is equipped with cutting jaws that sever the plants at the base and feed the entire stem into the machine. Inside, a centrifugal threshing and rubbing system gently separates the seeds from the dried pods and stems, minimizing breakage. The separated rapeseed falls onto vibrating screens and is then convened in the overhead storage bin, ready for transport and processing. Thanks to these machines, global rapeseed production is projected to reach around 90 million tonnes in the 2025-2026 season. The next product is cherries. Each year, the world harvests around 4.6 million tonnes of fresh cherries. On small and medium-sized farms, farmers must carefully pick each cluster, keeping the stems intact to avoid bruising. They then gently place them into baskets worn on their chest. When the scale expands, machinery begins to take over. Mechanical arms grip the tree trunk and shake it evenly so that the ripe cherries fall onto catching sheets. Immediately afterwards, the conveyor belt automatically transfers everything into containers. A process that once took hours is now completed in just a few rapid minutes, significantly improving productivity. Cranberry harvesting does not take place on land but underwater. In Wisconsin, the state that has led the United States for 31 consecutive years with production exceeding 5.3 million barrels last year, water is pumped into the cranberry bogs for harvesting. The water causes the berries to float, allowing disc harrows to easily knock the fruit off the vines. Farmers then wade through the water to gather them into large masses. This stage is quite strenuous because the equipment is heavy and must be moved continuously. Finally, all the berries are sucked onto trunks, washed inside the vehicle, and quickly transferred to the processing plant. Next, let us watch how watermelons are harvested. Workers use knives or scissors to cut the stems of each fruit and then pass them hand to hand onto the trunk. The work repeats continuously under the scorching sun, requiring endurance and smooth coordination. However, on some farms, what they need is not the fruit but the seeds. Watermelon are collected and fed into crushers to separate the seeds directly in the field. Although it may appear wasteful, the economic value of the seeds more than compensates. The watermelon seed market is projected to grow by an additional $364 million between 2026 and 2030. Unlike other vegetables, Brussels sprouts grow as small buds along the stem, making the harvesting method quite unique. Farmers sit on a semi-automatic machine and quickly pull up each plant, keeping the stem intact with its neat round sprouts. The entire plant is then passed through a system of rotating blades that separate each sprout from the stem. The sprouts fall onto a conveyor belt and are transferred to the storage compartment through a large discharge tube. Machines like these contribute to the approximately 1.5 million tons of Brussels sprouts produced globally each year. Pear harvesting is not a race for speed, but a test of dexterity. At the end of summer, in pear orchards in the US, when the fruit begins to ripen, farmers carefully pick each pear, taking care not to scratch the delicate skin. The pears are then placed into baskets worn on the body. When a basket is full, they move and empty it into a central bin, then repeat the process. This seemingly simple work supports around 13,000 labourers in Washington and Oregon. Under the harsh sun, date harvesting begins from height. To reach the clusters at the top, farmers tie ropes around the trunk and slowly climb down, selecting each ripe bunch. In Iran, when production exceeds 947,000 tons a year, this remains work that demands skill and courage. After cutting, the date clusters are lowered to the ground. They are then quality checked and sorted before processing. However, regional conflicts are now severely affecting agriculture, and more than ever, farmers only wish to continue their work in peace.
Still working the hot
Next, let us examine the spinach harvesting process. Specialized machines use wide cutting blades to sever the green leaves from the base, keeping the greens clean and minimizing soil contamination from the start. After cutting, the spinach is transferred directly onto a conveyor belt mounted on the machine. A powerful air stream pushes the leaves through a discharge tube into the container at the rear, creating a closed-loop process right in the field. With steadily increasing demand, the global spinach market is estimated to reach around $752 million by the end of 2026. In Japan's largest broccoli growing region, Hokkaido, they have a production of nearly 29,000 tons. Modern harvesting now benefits from machine support. These machines are equipped with sharp blades that cut the stems at the base, ensuring uniformity from the first step. After cutting, the broccoli is conveyed onto a belt to remove excess leaves. From there, it continues to the upper sorting area. Because preliminary processing occurs directly on the machine, the workers' workload is significantly reduced, allowing them to focus only on final inspection and selection. Olive harvesting has also been mechanized nowadays. The harvesting embraces the tree trunk and creates vibrations along the stem to make the fruit drop quickly. In just a few seconds, hundreds of olives fall continuously like rain. Below, a catching system immediately collects everything without loss. Immediately afterwards, the olives are screened inside the machine to remove leaves, small branches, and dirt. The clean fruit is transferred into containers, ready for transport to the oil processing plant. Global oil production is projected to reach around 3.4 million tons in the 2025-2026 season. The next product is raspberries. Of the more than 900,000 tons produced annually, a significant portion is harvested using tree shaking machines. This is the most common method on large-scale farms. However, this is not possible everywhere. On many farms, raspberries are still picked entirely by hand. Each berry is carefully selected and placed into small baskets to preserve quality. On one side is speed, and on the other is meticulous care. Both coexist to maintain the full value of this fruit. In modern apple orchards, farmers no longer need to climb manually as before. They stand on mobile elevating platforms that raise them to the level of the tree canopy, allowing them to pick fruit at a comfortable height. This makes the work more stable and less physically demanding. Each apple is placed into a basket worn in front of the body. When the basket is full, they empty it into a large bin placed on the platform and continue moving along the rows. The work proceeds steadily, repeating for many hours. These seemingly simple actions contribute to the global production of around 81 million tons of apples for the 2025-2026 season. Unlike many other crops, lotus flower harvesting occurs only during a few short hours in the early morning. In Dong Tam, Vietnam, where there are more than 2,737 acres of lotus cultivation, this is the moment when the fragrance is strongest, when the buds are still gently closed and the petals have not yet wilted under the sun. Farmers move through the ponds, using small knives or sharp scissors to cut each flower, taking care to not bruise the stems. They usually cut at an angle to help the flowers absorb water better when arranged. The work seems simple, but requires precision and care because these petals are extremely delicate. Prickly pear cactus harvesting is not a task you can do with bare hands. At the end of summer, when the fruit reaches ripeness, farmers must wear thick gloves or wrap multiple layers of cloth around their hands and use tongs or knives to cut each fruit down, avoiding the small but very irritating spines. Once experienced, they only need to lightly twist, and the ripe fruit will detach easily. The work demands much more care than speed, but the reward is clear. Under favourable conditions, a farm in New Mexico can harvest up to 5,000 pounds of fruit per year. The next product is bell peppers. With a cultivated area of more than 4.9 million acres worldwide, harvesting them is a matter of speed and organisation. When the machine starts operating, the entire pepper plant is drawn into the harvesting head and fed directly into the conveyor system. Here, excess leaves are removed as the peppers move through the processing sections. Although most of the process is mechanised, humans are still required for the final sorting and inspection stage to ensure quality fruits reach the market.